Dr. Alex Carter stared at the numbers on his screen for the third time that morning and still could not believe what he was seeing. The quantum field readings were impossible, yet there they were, glowing bright green on his monitor. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, but he had not noticed. His hands shook slightly as he ran the calculations again. "Ben, you need to see this!" he called to his research partner across the lab. Dr. Ben Phillips looked up from his own workstation, his gray hair messy from running his fingers through it all night. They had been working on this project for 7 years, and both men looked older than their age because of it. Ben walked over and looked at the screen. His eyes went wide. "That cannot be right. Run it again." Alex had already run the test 12 times. Each time, the results came back the same. The quantum field fluctuations they had created were bending space in ways that should not be possible. The math said they could move faster than light, but the math had to be wrong. Everyone knew faster than light travel was impossible for humans. The Armstrong Research Station orbited Mars in perfect silence, its metal walls protecting the small team of scientists from the cold emptiness of space. Outside the lab windows, the red planet turned slowly below them, its surface covered in the domes and tunnels of human colonies. Mars had been humanity's greatest achievement until now. But if Alex was right, it would soon seem like nothing more than a first step. Captain Lisa Morgan entered the lab with her usual quick steps. She was tall and strong, with short black hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. As the military liaison assigned to their project, she had watched their work for 3 years without understanding much of the science. But she understood what success would mean for humanity. "Dr. Carter, Admiral Sullivan wants an update," she said. "The brass are getting impatient. 7 years and billions of credits, and they want to know if we have anything to show for it." Alex looked at Ben, then back at Lisa. "Captain, I think we might have everything to show for it." He turned his screen toward her and began to explain in simple terms. "For the past 7 years, we have been trying to find a way to travel faster than light. Every other species in the galaxy uses something called exotic matter to bend space around their ships. We do not have exotic matter, and we cannot make it. So we had to find another way." Lisa nodded. She had heard this explanation before. "What we discovered is that we do not need exotic matter at all. We can use quantum field fluctuations instead. Think of space like water in a pool. Other species use exotic matter like a big rock thrown in the water to make waves. But we found we can make the same waves by moving our hands in just the right way under the surface." Ben pulled up a new screen showing a 3-dimensional model of their experimental drive. "The beauty is in its simplicity. We create a quantum field bubble around the ship. Inside the bubble, space behaves normally. But outside the bubble, we compress space in front of the ship and expand it behind the ship. The ship never actually moves faster than light. Space itself moves around the ship." Lisa studied the model. "And this will work?" Alex took a deep breath. "The math says yes, but we need to test it. We built a small prototype drive and installed it in an unmanned probe. If the calculations are correct, we can send the probe to Proxima Centauri and back in 6 hours." 6 hours? Lisa stared at them. "The fastest ships we have would take 4 years to reach Proxima Centauri." "That is correct, Captain," Ben said. "Our drive would be roughly 6,000 times faster than current human technology." Lisa sat down hard in a nearby chair. She had been in space for 15 years and had seen many amazing things, but nothing like this. "When can we test it?" "Right now, if you approve it," Alex said. "The probe is ready. We just need permission to activate the drive." Lisa looked at both scientists. They were brilliant men who had dedicated their lives to this project. But they were also asking her to approve something that could change everything. If they were wrong, they would lose a very expensive probe. If they were right, humanity would no longer be trapped in their own solar system. "Do it," she said. Alex and Ben moved to the control station. Their hands flew over the controls as they prepared the probe for launch. The small ship was no bigger than a car, packed with sensors and cameras to record everything that happened. It hung in space outside the station, waiting. "Quantum field generators online," Ben reported. "Navigation system locked on Proxima Centauri," Alex said. "All systems green. Ready for activation on your command, Captain." Lisa stood behind them, watching the probe on the main screen. Her heart pounded in her chest. "Activate the drive." Alex pressed the activation button. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the probe simply vanished. 1 second it was there, the next it was gone without any flash or explosion or sound. "Did it work?" Lisa asked. Ben was already checking his instruments. "The quantum field readings show successful space compression. The probe should now be traveling through compressed space toward Proxima Centauri." They waited. Alex paced back and forth while Ben watched his screens. Lisa stood perfectly still, afraid to move or speak. 6 hours felt like 6 years. Finally, Ben looked up. "I am getting a signal. The probe is returning." The probe appeared on their screens exactly where it had vanished. Alex quickly downloaded the data while Ben checked the ship's condition. Everything was perfect. The probe had traveled over 4 light years in 6 hours and returned without a scratch. "Look at this," Alex said, pulling up the probe's camera recordings. The screen showed the familiar view of space around Mars. Then, suddenly changed to show the bright orange light of Proxima Centauri and its small rocky planet. Then it changed back to Mars. "We did it," Ben whispered. "We actually did it." Lisa grabbed the communication console. "This is Captain Morgan to Admiral Sullivan. Please respond immediately. Priority Alpha." Admiral Kate Sullivan's voice came through the speakers. "Morgan, what is your status?" "Admiral, the test was successful. The drive works. We have achieved faster-than-light travel." There was a long silence. Then Sullivan's voice came back, carefully controlled. "Captain, are you absolutely certain?" "Yes, Admiral. We have complete data from a successful test flight to Proxima Centauri and back. The technology works. Captain Morgan, you and your team are to speak to no one about this until further notice. I am sending a security team to your station. This information is now classified at the highest level." Lisa understood. If word of this discovery got out before Earth was ready, it could cause panic or worse. Other species in the galaxy would not be happy to learn that humans had broken their monopoly on faster-than-light travel. "Understood, Admiral. We will await your orders." After Sullivan signed off, the 3 of them stood in silence. They had done something that would change the course of human history, but they also knew their lives had just become much more complicated. Alex looked out the window at Mars below them. Soon, he thought, Mars would not seem so far from home. Soon, humans would be able to travel to any star in the galaxy. The question was whether the galaxy was ready for humanity to join them. Ben was already making notes about improvements to the drive design. Lisa was thinking about the military implications. But Alex was thinking about something else entirely. He was thinking about the day when human ships would blaze across the stars, free from the control of anyone who thought they could keep humanity trapped in their own small corner of space. That day was coming sooner than anyone expected. The Council's response to humanity's rejection came swiftly and without mercy. President Ellen Hayes stood in the Situation Room beneath Washington, watching reports flood in from across human space. 3 research stations had been destroyed. In the past 6 hours, their populations vaporized by weapons that left no debris behind. General Sam Rodriguez pointed to the tactical display showing the locations of the attacks. Europa Station, Titan Research Complex, and the mining facility on Ceres. Each one was hit by a single ship that appeared without warning, fired once, and disappeared. Dr. Alex Carter studied the energy readings from the attacks. These are not their main warships. Based on the quantum signatures, I would say these are smaller patrol vessels. They are testing our defenses and demonstrating their power. How many people? President Hayes asked quietly. 2,437, General Rodriguez replied. Complete loss of life at all 3 locations. Hayes closed her eyes for a moment. She had hoped the Council would at least attempt negotiations before resorting to violence. The speed and ruthlessness of their response told her everything she needed to know about how they viewed humanity. Captain Lisa Morgan entered the room, still wearing her flight suit from an emergency reconnaissance mission. Madam President, we have intelligence on their attack patterns. The ships are using hit-and-run tactics, jumping in with their FTL drives, firing their main weapons and jumping out before we can respond. Can we track them? That is the problem. Their exotic matter drives leave a different quantum signature than our field manipulation system. Our sensors were not designed to track their technology. Dr. Ben Phillips, who had been working on defensive applications of their FTL drive, looked up from his portable computer. We might have a solution to that problem. If we can modify our sensors to detect exotic matter residue, we should be able to predict where they will attack next. How long? Hayes asked. 6 hours, maybe less? Do it. General Rodriguez, what is our military situation? The general activated a new display showing human defensive positions throughout the solar system. We have 12 ships equipped with the new FTL drives, including Captain Morgan's Pioneer. Our conventional weapons are no match for Council technology, but our speed advantage might give us options. What kind of options? Hit-and-run attacks of our own. We can strike at their ships faster than they can respond, but we need weapons that can actually damage their hulls and shields. Alex had been thinking about this problem since the first attack. General, what if we do not try to destroy their ships directly? What do you mean, Doctor? Their ships require exotic matter to operate their FTL drives. If we can disrupt the exotic matter containment systems, their ships would be stranded in normal space without their main advantage. Lisa saw where he was going with this idea. And once they are trapped in normal space, they are sitting targets for conventional weapons. Exactly. The question is how to disrupt exotic matter containment from the outside. Ben looked up from his computer. Actually, I think I know how to do that. Our quantum field generators create localized space-time distortions. If we modified them to generate inverse fields, we could destabilize exotic matter containment within a specific radius. How specific? Rodriguez asked. Maybe a kilometer, but that means we would have to get very close to their ships. Hayes studied the faces around her. These people were talking about attacking an enemy with technology thousands of years more advanced than their own. But they were also talking about defending their species and their freedom. Do it, she said. Whatever you need, you have it. General, prepare our ships for offensive operations. Over the next several hours, the Situation Room became a center of frantic activity. Ben and Alex worked with military engineers to modify quantum field generators for combat use. Lisa coordinated with other ship captains to plan attack runs against Council vessels. Rodriguez analyzed intelligence from surveillance drones to identify targets. The breakthrough came when Ben successfully tested a modified field generator on a small sample of exotic matter. The containment field collapsed instantly, releasing energy that would have been catastrophic if not contained in a heavily shielded test chamber. "It works," he announced. "But the field has to be generated at very close range. Our ships will need to get within 500 meters of enemy vessels." 500 meters? Lisa said. "Their weapons have a range of thousands of kilometers. How do we get that close?" "Speed," Alex said simply. "We jump in as close as possible, activate the disruptor field, and jump out before they can target us. That assumes we can calculate jump coordinates accurately enough to appear exactly where we want to be." "Leave that to me," Lisa said. "My crew has been practicing precision jumps for months. We can do it." The first test came 6 hours later when Council sensors detected a human ship approaching the asteroid belt. Veltar, the Council military commander, ordered one of his patrol vessels to destroy the intruder. His ship, the Enforcer, dropped out of FTL drive near the asteroid Vesta and immediately began scanning for human vessels. "Target acquired," his weapons officer reported. "One small ship, dead ahead. Shall I destroy it?" "Fire," Veltar commanded. But before the Enforcer could discharge its weapons, space twisted around it as the Pioneer materialized less than 400 meters away. Lisa's ship was already moving at high speed, and the modified quantum field generator activated automatically. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Enforcer's exotic matter containment systems failed catastrophically, leaving the ship powerless and drifting. Its shields collapsed, its weapons went offline, and its life support systems began to fail. "This is Captain Morgan to Enforcer," Lisa transmitted. "Surrender your vessel and prepare to be boarded." Veltar stared at his dead control panels in shock. In 3,000 years of Council military service, he had never seen anything like this. One moment, his ship had been the most powerful vessel in the system, the next it was helpless scrap metal. "How?" he whispered. His communications officer, working on emergency power, reported that the human ship was demanding surrender. Veltar had no choice. Without exotic matter containment, his ship was trapped in normal space with no way to call for help or escape. The Pioneer docked with the Enforcer, and Lisa led a boarding party onto the Council ship. What they found surprised them. The alien crew was not that different from humans in basic appearance, though their skin was gray and their eyes were larger. More importantly, they seemed genuinely shocked that their technology had failed. Veltar, identified by his elaborate uniform, stood in the center of his ruined bridge with his hands raised in what appeared to be a gesture of surrender. "I am Captain Lisa Morgan of Earth Defense Forces," she announced. "You are now prisoners of war." "This is impossible," Veltar said, speaking perfect English through a translation device. "Our technology is superior. Our ships are invincible." "Your ships were invincible," Lisa corrected. "But you made the mistake of attacking people who do not accept that some things are impossible." While her security team secured the alien crew, Lisa accessed the ship's computer systems. What she found was intelligence beyond their wildest hopes. The Enforcer's computers contained detailed information about Council military positions, ship deployments, and strategic plans for dealing with the human rebellion. Most importantly, they contained information about other species that had recently challenged Council authority and been crushed. Lisa studied the records and realized that humanity was not alone. Dozens of species across the galaxy had attempted to break free from Council control in recent years, only to be defeated by superior technology and ruthless tactics. But now humanity had proven that Council ships could be defeated. The question was whether this victory could be repeated on a larger scale. Lisa contacted Earth with news of the successful attack. President Hayes authorized the immediate deployment of all 12 FTL-equipped ships for similar strikes against Council patrol vessels throughout human space. Over the next week, human ships appeared without warning near Council vessels, disabled them with quantum field disruptors, and captured both ships and crews. Each victory provided more intelligence about Council operations and confirmed that their enemy was not invincible. But Lisa knew the Council would not continue sending small patrol ships once they realized what was happening. Soon they would send their main battle fleet, and humanity would face a much more dangerous test. Standing on the bridge of the Pioneer as they prepared for another strike mission, she looked out at the stars and wondered how many other species were watching these battles, hoping that someone would finally prove the Council could be beaten. The answer, she suspected, would determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of freedom in the galaxy. 3 months had passed since the successful test of the faster-than-light drive. The Armstrong Research Station had been transformed into a fortress of secrecy, with security teams and encrypted communications replacing the quiet work of pure science. Dr. Alex Carter barely recognized his own laboratory anymore. Captain Lisa Morgan had been promoted and given command of the UES Pioneer, the first human ship equipped with the new drive technology. She stood on the bridge of her vessel, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen as they returned from their 15th test flight. Each mission had been more ambitious than the last, taking them further from home and proving that the drive worked perfectly every time. "Captain, we are receiving a priority communication from Earth Command," her communications officer reported. "Put it through," Lisa said. Admiral Kate Sullivan appeared on the screen, her face serious. "Captain Morgan, report to Earth immediately. We have visitors." Lisa felt her stomach tighten. "Visitors, Admiral?" "The kind we have been expecting. They arrived 6 hours ago in a ship the size of a small city. Ambassador Ryan Clark is handling the initial contact, but they are asking specifically about our faster-than-light capabilities." Transmission ended, and Lisa ordered her crew to set course for Earth. During the journey, she could not stop thinking about what this meant. Humanity had always known there were other intelligent species in the galaxy. Radio telescopes had detected their transmissions for decades, but contact had never been made because humans could not travel to the stars, and apparently, the aliens had chosen not to visit Earth, until now. The Pioneer arrived at Earth to find a massive alien vessel hanging in space near the moon. Lisa had seen the pictures, but seeing it in person was different. The ship was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, its smooth silver surface reflecting the light of the sun. It was clearly built by beings with technology far beyond anything humans possessed. Lisa docked at Luna Station and was immediately escorted to a secure conference room where Ambassador Ryan Clark was waiting. Clark was a skilled diplomat who had spent years preparing for this moment, though he had hoped it would come under different circumstances. "Captain Morgan, thank you for coming quickly," Clark said. "I need you to understand the situation before we proceed. The aliens call themselves the Galactic Council, and they claim to represent over 300 species across the galaxy." Lisa sat down across from him. "What do they want?" They want to know how we developed faster than light travel without their help. According to them, FTL technology is restricted to Council members only. No species is supposed to develop it independently. Clark activated a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy. Most of it was colored in various shades of blue and green, with small red dots scattered throughout. The blue and green areas are Council territory, he explained. Each color represents a different level of membership in their hierarchy. The red dots are independent worlds that have not yet been brought into the Council. And Earth? Earth is not on their map at all. We were apparently beneath their notice until our FTL tests started generating quantum signatures they could detect from hundreds of light years away. Lisa studied the map. What kind of hierarchy are we talking about? Clark's expression grew grim. The Council operates on a strict system of technological and cultural superiority. The oldest and most advanced species make the decisions. Newer members are given limited access to technology and are expected to contribute resources and labor to the Council's projects. And they want us to join this system? They insist on it. According to their representative, a being called Zekthor, species with FTL capability cannot be allowed to exist outside Council authority. It disrupts what they call the natural order of galactic civilization. Lisa stood up and walked to the window overlooking Earth. The planet looked peaceful from here, but she knew that billions of people down there had no idea their entire future was being decided in conference rooms and alien starships. What are our options? She asked. According to Zekthor, we have 3 choices. First, we can surrender our FTL technology to the Council and accept junior membership status. This would mean sharing all our scientific knowledge and accepting severe restrictions on our expansion and development. Second option, we can refuse and face what they call corrective action. They were not specific about what that means, but their ship carries enough firepower to destroy every human settlement in the solar system. And the third option? There is no third option, at least none that Zekthor mentioned. Lisa turned back to Clark. What do we know about their technology? Dr. Carter and Dr. Phillips have been analyzing the quantum signatures from their ship. The good news is that their FTL drive is based on the exotic matter technology we expected. The bad news is that it powers weapons and defensive systems far beyond our current capabilities. But their drive is slower than ours? Clark nodded. According to our analysis, yes. Their ship took 3 days to travel here from the nearest Council outpost. The Pioneer could make the same journey in 8 hours. That gives us an advantage. Only if we can use it without being destroyed first. The door to the conference room opened, and Dr. Alex Carter entered with Dr. Ben Phillips. Both men looked tired and worried. Ambassador Captain, Alex said, we have been monitoring the Council ship's emissions. Their technology is impressive, but it has limitations we did not expect. Ben pulled up a new display showing energy readings from the alien vessel. Their exotic matter drive requires massive amounts of power to operate. The ship has to shut down most of its other systems during FTL travel, including weapons and shields. That is interesting, Lisa said. What else? Their technology appears to be very old and standardized, Alex continued. Every reading we get suggests they have not made significant improvements to their systems in centuries, maybe thousands of years. Why would that be? Think about it, Ben said. If you control all FTL technology in the galaxy, you have no competition. No one can challenge you. So there is no pressure to innovate or improve. Clark leaned forward. Are you suggesting their technology has stagnated? More than that, Alex said. We think their entire civilization has stagnated. they have built. A system where they control everything, but that same system prevents anyone, including themselves, from making real advances. Lisa felt a spark of hope. What about our drive? Can they copy it? That is the beauty of our discovery, Ben said with a slight smile. Our drive is based on quantum field manipulation that requires a completely different understanding of physics. Even if they capture one of our ships, they would need decades to reverse engineer the technology. And we can build more ships faster than they can analyze what we have, Alex added. Clark stood up and walked to the display showing the galactic map. The question is whether we want to start a war we might not be able to win. Ambassador, Lisa said carefully, what did you tell Zekthor about our decision? I told him we needed time to consider their offer. He agreed to wait 48 hours for our response. That is not very long. No, it is not. But I think I know what their real concern is. Clark touched a control, and the galactic map zoomed in to show the area around Earth. There were dozens of red dots representing independent worlds within a few hundred light years. If we refuse to join the Council and they cannot stop us, every independent species in this region will know that Council authority can be challenged. Their entire power structure depends on everyone believing they cannot be resisted. Lisa understood immediately. We are not just choosing for humanity, we are choosing for every species that wants to be free. Exactly. And that makes this decision much more important than just our own survival. Dr. Phillips cleared his throat. There is something else you should know. During our reconnaissance flights, we detected quantum signatures from several of the independent worlds that suggest they have been experimenting with FTL technology. You mean we are not the only ones trying to develop faster than light travel? We do not think so. The Council may be facing challenges from multiple species, and our success might be the spark that ignites something much larger. Clark returned to his chair and looked at each of them in turn. So we have to decide. Do we accept Council authority and condemn ourselves and every other species to permanent technological slavery? Or do we take a stand and risk everything on the chance that we can defend ourselves and maybe free others as well? Lisa thought about the Pioneer and her crew, young men and women who had volunteered for dangerous test flights because they believed in humanity's future among the stars. She thought about the colonies on Mars and the Moon, filled with people who had sacrificed everything to build new homes in the hostile emptiness of space. There really is only one choice, she said. We tell Zekthor that humanity chooses freedom. Alex and Ben nodded in agreement. Clark looked out the window at Earth, knowing that his next conversation with the Council representative would determine whether the blue planet remained free or became just another colored dot on their galactic map. Then we had better start preparing for war, he said, because something... Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance and watched the empty space where New Denver Colony used to be. 3 months had passed since the Zephyrian ships came and turned the bustling human settlement into floating debris. The silence in space felt heavy like a blanket made of death and loss. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez walked up to him with a data pad in her hands. Her face looked tired and her eyes showed the same pain that everyone carried now. She had been working, day and night, to understand why the aliens attacked them so suddenly and with such hatred. "Sir, we have the analysis complete," Amy said quietly. Her voice carried the weight of terrible news. "The Zephyrians did not attack us randomly. They planned this for years, maybe decades. Every strike was precise, every target was chosen carefully. They wanted to erase us completely from the galaxy." Jake took the data pad and scrolled through the information. Numbers and charts filled the screen, but behind each number were human lives that no longer existed. 17 star systems had been hit in the first wave. Military bases, research stations, mining colonies, family settlements. The aliens had studied humanity and knew exactly where to strike to cause maximum damage. Captain Lisa Hayes joined them on the bridge. She moved with the confidence of someone who had survived impossible odds, but her shoulders carried the burden of command during humanity's darkest hour. Behind her walked Chief Engineer Bobby Clark, who looked like he had not slept in days. His uniform was stained with grease, and his hands showed burns from working on damaged systems. "How many survivors do we have total?" Jake asked Lisa. He already knew the answer, but hearing it again might make it feel more real. The USS Vengeance had become an ark carrying the remnants of human civilization in this sector of space. 847 souls aboard this ship, Lisa replied. Medical reports from Dr. Kate Sullivan show most are in stable condition physically. The psychological trauma will take much longer to heal if we live long enough for healing to matter. Dr. Sullivan appeared at the edge of the conversation as if summoned by the mention of her name. She carried herself with the quiet strength that doctors develop when they see too much suffering. Her medical bag never left her side now because someone always needed help dealing with the nightmares that came with being one of the last humans. Alive. "Commander, the wounded are asking questions I cannot answer," Kate said. "They want to know if Earth is safe. They want to know if their families in other systems survived. They want to know if we are going to fight back or just run until there is nowhere left to run." Bobby Clark stepped forward, and his voice carried anger mixed with determination. "Sir, I have been studying the wreckage from the alien attacks. Their weapons technology is advanced, but not impossible to understand. If we can get close enough to one of their main ships, we might be able to learn how their systems work. Knowledge is power, and right now we need all the power we can get." Amy looked up from her data pad with new information. "Commander, I intercepted some Zephyrian communications during the last attack on Frontier Station. The translation software needed time to decode their language, but the message is clear. They call us the contaminating influence. They believe humans spread chaos and disorder wherever we go. Their military doctrine treats us like a disease that must be completely removed from the galaxy." The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Being hated was one thing, but being seen as something that needed to be erased from existence entirely was different. The Zephyrians did not want to conquer humanity or enslave them. They wanted every trace of human life eliminated as if people had never existed at all. Lisa walked to the main viewing screen and stared out at the stars. In their minds, we are not even worthy opponents. We are just something dirty that needs to be cleaned up. That makes us dangerous to them because they underestimate what humans can do when everything is taken away from us. Jake nodded and began to pace the bridge. His mind was working through possibilities and strategies. The crew watched him because they needed leadership and hope in equal measure. Outside the ship space looked peaceful, but everyone knew that Zephyrian scouts were hunting for survivors to finish what their main fleet had started. Bobby Clark pulled out a small device that beeped softly. "Sir, long-range sensors are picking up movement in the outer system. Could be more alien ships or could be debris from previous battles. Either way, we should be ready to move quickly if needed." Dr. Sullivan checked her medical scanner and reported that several crew members were showing signs of extreme stress. "Commander, decisions need to be made soon. The uncertainty is eating people alive from the inside. Some are talking about surrender, others about fighting back with whatever we have left. The crew needs direction before they start making their..." Own choices. Amy Rodriguez suddenly straightened up as new data flowed across her screen. Her face went pale, and her hands started shaking slightly. Commander, we are receiving a priority transmission from Earth. The signal is weak and breaking. Up, but the message is clear. Earth is under siege. The Zephyrian main fleet has surrounded the home planet, and they are preparing for the final phase of their extermination plan. The bridge erupted in quiet conversations as everyone processed this devastating news. Earth represented more than just humanity's birthplace. It was hope and history, and the promise that somewhere in the galaxy humans still existed in large numbers. If Earth fell, then the few hundred people aboard the USS Vengeance might be all that remained of human civilization. Lisa moved to the communications station and tried to establish better contact with Earth. Static filled the speakers, mixed with fragments of desperate messages from the home planet's defense forces. Zephyrian ships numbering in the thousands came through, clearly followed by orbital bombardment beginning, and then silence. Jake felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders like a heavy coat made of lead. 847. People were looking to him for answers he did not have, and hope he was not sure existed. Outside the ship, the galaxy had become hostile territory where humans were marked for extinction. The easy choices had all been taken away, leaving only desperate options that might save a few lives or might end them all. Bobby Clark approached the commander with determination in his eyes. Sir, I have an idea that might sound crazy, but crazy. Might be all we have left. If the Zephyrians want to erase us from existence, then maybe we should show them what humans do when they have nothing left to lose. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood before the holographic display in the Earth Defense Command Center, watching as red markers representing Council battle fleets moved toward human space from 3 different directions. The enemy had finally responded to the loss of their patrol ships with the kind of massive force humanity had feared. 47 ships in the primary fleet, General Rodriguez reported, each one larger than anything we have faced before. Intelligence from captured vessels suggests these are their main battle cruisers, designed to destroy entire planetary systems. Captain Lisa Morgan had returned from her latest strike mission with disturbing news. Admiral, the crews we captured are talking. The Council has declared humanity a threat to galactic stability. They are not coming to negotiate or demand surrender. They are coming to eliminate us completely. Dr. Alex Carter looked up from his workstation where he had been designing the most ambitious application of their FTL technology yet attempted. Admiral, I believe we have one chance to change the balance of this war permanently. I am listening, Doctor. Alex activated a new display showing their quantum field generator technology scaled up to enormous proportions. We can build a massive field disruptor that would affect an entire star system. Instead of disabling one ship at a time, we could shut down every Council vessel in local space simultaneously. Dr. Ben Phillips nodded in agreement. The power requirements would be enormous, and we would need at least a week to build it. But the theory is sound. What would be the effect? Sullivan asked. Every ship using exotic matter for FTL travel within approximately 10 light-years of Earth would lose power immediately, Ben explained. Their drives would fail, their weapons would go offline, and they would be trapped in normal space. Including any Council reinforcements that might be on their way? Yes, Admiral. The field would affect any ship dependent on exotic matter technology, leaving only our quantum field drive ships operational. General Rodriguez studied the tactical implications. That would give us a decisive advantage, but only temporarily. Once they realize what happened, they will send ships that stay outside the affected area. Which is why we need to act fast once the disruptor is activated. Lisa said. We would have maybe a few days to strike at every council ship and base within range before they adapt to our strategy. Sullivan walked around the display, considering the risks and possibilities. This plan was either brilliant or suicidal, and probably both. But the alternative was facing the Council battle fleets in conventional combat, which they could not win. How many ships would we need to conduct simultaneous strikes across a 10-light-year radius? Every FTL-capable vessel we have, Rodriguez said. Plus, we would need to coordinate with any other species willing to join the fight. Other species? Lisa activated a communication screen showing transmissions they had intercepted from several nearby star systems. Admiral, we are not the only ones watching these battles. At least 6 independent worlds have contacted us in the past week, asking how we defeated Council patrol ships. And 3 of them have their own experimental FTL programs. They have been hiding their research from the Council, but they are willing to help if we share our quantum field technology. Alex looked excited by this possibility. Admiral, if we can establish a network of quantum field disruptors at strategic points throughout this region of space, we could create a zone where Council ships cannot operate effectively. A free zone, Ben added. Protected by technology they cannot counter. Sullivan realized they were talking about much more than just defending Earth. They were talking about liberating an entire region of the galaxy from Council control. General Rodriguez, what would be required to coordinate such an operation? Precise timing, perfect intelligence, and more luck than any military operation has a right to expect, he said honestly. But if it works, we would not just survive the Council attack. We would break their power permanently in this sector. Sullivan made her decision. Do it. Dr. Carter, you have every resource Earth can provide to build your disruptor. Captain. Morgan, contact our new allies and coordinate the sharing of quantum field technology. General Rodriguez, prepare strike plans for every Council facility within 10 light years. The next week was the most intense period in human history. Working around the clock, construction teams assembled the massive quantum field disruptor in orbit around Earth. The device was larger than most space stations, requiring exotic materials and precision engineering beyond anything humanity had ever attempted. Meanwhile, Lisa and her crew traveled to the 3 allied worlds, sharing quantum field drive technology, with species that had been planning their own rebellions against Council authority. The Kepler system had been working on FTL drives for 50 years. The beings of Wolf 359 had developed their own theories about space manipulation. The colonies around Barnard's star had been secretly building warships for decades. Each species brought their own innovations to the quantum field technology. The Kepler scientists had discovered more efficient power generation methods. The Wolf 359 researchers had developed better targeting systems. The Barnard's star colonists had created more durable field generators. Working together, they created a network of quantum field disruptors that would cover a sphere of space containing dozens of star systems. More importantly, they coordinated the construction of nearly 200 ships equipped with the enhanced quantum field drives. Dr. Alex Carter stood in the control center of the primary disruptor as the Council battle fleets approached the edge of the solar system. Admiral Sullivan was aboard the flagship UES Defiance, commanding the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. Captain Morgan led a strike group toward the Council's main supply base in the Alpha Centauri system. All stations report ready, Ben announced. Council fleets will be within optimal range in 30 minutes. What about our allies? The Kepler fleet is in position. Wolf 359 forces are standing by. Barnard's starships are ready for simultaneous strikes. Alex watched the tactical display, as Council ships moved confidently toward what they believed would be an easy victory. The enemy had no idea that humanity and its allies had spent the past week preparing the largest coordinated military operation in galactic history. Council lead elements entering the disruption field in 10 seconds, Ben reported. All ships, prepare for Operation Freedom Strike, Sullivan broadcast to the combined fleet. 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, activating field disruptor now! Space itself seemed to twist around Earth as the massive quantum field generator came online. The effect was invisible to the naked eye, but the results were immediate and devastating. 47 Council battlecruisers suddenly lost power simultaneously, their exotic matter drives failing catastrophically. Field disruption confirmed across all target areas, Ben announced. Enemy vessels are dead in space. All strike groups, execute your orders, Sullivan commanded. Across a 10-light-year sphere of space, 200 ships using quantum field drives attacked Council facilities and fleets with perfect coordination. Every enemy base, supply depot, and communication station was hit simultaneously by forces that could appear and disappear faster than their targets could respond. Lisa's group struck the Alpha Centauri supply base just as its defensive fleet lost power. The massive installation, which had supplied Council operations across dozens of worlds, was captured intact, along with its stores of exotic matter and advanced weapons. Similar attacks succeeded throughout the region. The Council's entire military infrastructure in local space collapsed in a single coordinated strike that lasted less than 4 hours. In the control center, Alex watched status reports pour in from across the affected area. Every target had been neutralized. Every Council ship had been captured or destroyed. Most importantly, they had rescued the crews of dozens of ships belonging to species that had been enslaved by the Council for centuries. Dr. Carter, Ben said quietly, we did not just win a battle. We just freed an entire region of the galaxy. Alex looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, the Council's leadership was realizing that their 1,000-year dominion was finally being challenged by forces they could not